I'm convinced if all I did was leave the camera on like this and just sort of wave my hand once in a while like this, I'd still get a lot of views on this video. But hello everyone and welcome to BHG Studios. I am going to be doing a video on Leica cameras. Those of you that aren't familiar with the ecosystem, let me introduce you to the family. Now this isn't all the cameras, but this is sort of like the basic families of camera. Here we have the Leica Q2, the Q2 monochrome, a lens for the M mount, which is the 28 Summicron, the M7, which is now discontinued, the SF24D flash. Here we have the Leica SL2, and this lens here matches it. It is the SL16 to 35 zoom lens, and here we have a TL 60mm Apple macro lens, which is a match for this camera here, which is the Leica CL, and on here is a TL 18mm f2.8 Elmarit. So that's the family. Let's begin the video now. It's hard to keep this dust free. My goodness. Black on black on black. Look at this. This even matches. Before we begin this video, I'd like to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video, KEH Camera. They are the original reseller of professional, collectible, and everyday gear for camera lovers everywhere since 1979. They purchase gear directly from photographers like us. They renew and resell at fair prices, and they truly become part of an endless cycle of creativity, community, and opportunity. And so if you go to the website, I'll have links down below. You'll get discounts either if you're buying or selling, but they do have a good selection of Leica cameras, and they get snapped up very quickly. But as well, if you have Leica cameras and you want to figure out how much they are, they even have an online video conferencing so you can get instant quotes on the camera that you wish to trade in. So check out KEH Camera, and we'll talk about them a little bit later at the end of the video. So let's talk about the major categories of Leica cameras. This is the most classic. This is a Leica M body. It's a rangefinder body. So basically you're not looking through the lens, and you're not looking through some EVF, but you are looking through this really old school type way of focusing and viewing your cameras. Now this is a Leica film M7, and after the M7, the M8, the M9, the M10, those are all, and the M240, those are all digital cameras, but still uses this simple and very effective way of framing and focusing your images. And so if you are wanting to get into the Leica M system, you can go right back to the original Leica M3. I think it came out in 1954, M2, M4, M5, M6, M7, and sort of a lot of special editions and variants kind of in between. And then there's the MP and the MA that are currently available right now. This is the last M that was discontinued. And so these are still pretty expensive, but this is really nice. I like it because it has DX encoding, it has aperture priority, it has exposure compensation in third stop, so you can shoot slide film with this. And it is TTL, so you can use flashes like this. Now, if you want to get into Leica M Digital, the M10, the current M10P is $7,800 and the M10 monochrome is $9,000. So very expensive. As I mentioned before, these are premium products, but they are beautifully made, brass tops and bottoms. Not only by looking at it, but as soon as you hold these cameras in your hand, you know right away that these are really well built. This came out in 2002 and it's still solid, and it is one of my favorite cameras to shoot with. And so if you want to get into Leica M, there is nuances to it, but the beauty is you can have a film M and a digital M, and you can share lenses like the 28 Summicron here, go back and forth, and you're going to be focusing the same, you're going to be shooting very similar, it's going to have a similar feel to it, and so that's one of the advantages of going with the Leica M system. Another really unique camera system is the Leica SL. When it came out a few years ago, a lot of people didn't really understand the SL. I loved it, but some people did not love it. But you know, the original SL is still worth quite a bit of money. Now this new SL2, and there also is a SL2S, which I think actually is not only the better deal, but I actually prefer it having the 24 megapixel sensor versus a 47 megapixel sensor in this one right here. And one of the beauty of the SL system is that EVF. It's 5.6 something million dot EVF, and it is beautiful. So if you're gonna shoot through an EVF, I don't think there is a better EVF out there than what is on the SL2. Now the build quality on the SL2 is amazing. I have friends that have sort of like the Panasonic equivalent to this, the S1 or the S1R or whatever, and the build quality and the feel of this one is much nicer. The minimalist design is timeless. Being able to adapt. So right now I have the TL to M mount adapter, so I have this old Minolta lens on here, but that's the beauty of this SL, being able to adapt older M mount lenses as well as using native SL lenses on this SL and having a nice EVF that you can punch in. So if you do have a rare lens, this is a Minolta 90mm lens, and this is a very difficult lens to focus on the M bodies, but on the SL, no problem. The only trick is to maybe when you are focusing, shoot it wide open at f4 or whatever the wide open it is, because focus peaking isn't that great on the SL and the SL2. I hope that they do upgrade it. It is kind of a software thing, especially when it comes to adaptive lenses. So shoot it wide open, focus, and then you can stop down to whatever aperture you want. But the SL2 is fantastic. I am really looking forward to the SL2S. It's great for video, it's great for stills. It works really well with their native SL lenses. Now they are chunky. These lenses are big and heavy, but the image quality is amazing. I remember testing the original 24-90. Now that was a bazooka of a lens, but I've never seen IQ like that on a zoom lens. And so if you're into the best possible image quality that you're going to get on a autofocus type system, match up the SL system with one of their SL lenses. Now this is probably one of the least talked about bodies in the Leica system, and it is the crop sensor, or the APS-C sensor CL. Now this originally started off as the Leica T, and then it was the T2 I think, and then the TL, and finally the latest iteration is the CL, and I think this is the best iteration. The original T was designed by Audi. It was that all aluminum body, and it was really quirky and weird, but this makes sense. This clearly was designed by Leica. I really like the CL. I heard rumors that there may be a CL2. I hope they do decide to add an articulating screen. I think that would really benefit from here, and I do hope that they add more native TL lenses to this, because you know, with this here, the 18 f2.8, this is a really compact body, has a beautiful EVF that has nice eye relief, and so I actually really enjoy shooting with this. And you could still put this, remember the mounts on these two are exactly the same, it's just the sensor size is different, so you can get the same mount adapted here and mount any of your Leica M with the 1.5 times crop factor on here. But this is a very versatile camera body, not talked about much, but I highly recommend the sensor that's in this camera. I've always liked Leica's APS-C censored cameras, either if it was one of their all-in-one cameras like the original Leica X Vario or the latest CL. And so if you are in the market for smaller, more compact Leica interchangeable lens camera bodies, then consider the Leica CL. Now we're finally talking about one of the most popular camera lines of the Leica ecosystem, and it is the Leica Q. Now this is the Q2, and this is the Q2 monochrome. Now I'm just starting to test this, so I can't really speak about the Leica Q2, but I know I've tested all the M body monochromes and I loved all of them, and so I'm really looking forward to this. This camera system is very unique, and it kind of is in a class of its own. The only other camera that people really compare this to is the Fujifilm X100 system, and it's a very different camera, very different price point. Sony does also have their RX1 full frame all-in-one point and shoot, and that's basically what this is. This is just a overkill, a mighty point and shoot, but the Sony has a 35mm f2, Leica has a 28mm f1.7, and it has a special macro mode that allows, and I think when in macro mode it goes to f2.8, but this is a very versatile point and shoot. But it's more than that. It is an all-in-one, a high quality, it's a full frame. If you want the most powerful point and shoot out there, I would highly recommend the Leica Q2. This is just an amazing camera. Now the price point of this camera, it's really hard to say because, you know, even the Sony RX1, the Mark II version, it's 5 years old, it's still for sale, and it's I think $3,300. The Q2 is $5,500, the Q2 monochrome is $6,200, and so in terms of, you know, the Leica tax, there isn't anything else out there like these two cameras here. So if you can afford it and you want a camera with a 28mm field of view, you want macro capabilities, then there aren't a lot of cameras that can do what this camera here can do. So much darn dust. I think I need a humidifier or something like that for the studio. So that's my quick look at all the different Leica cameras, the M system, the SL system, the CL system, and the Q cameras. Now there are other Leica cameras, point and shoots, and a lot of the cameras are sort of collaborations with Panasonic, like the Deluxe system, but these are sort of very specific to Leica. If you're interested in any of these cameras, I've done separate reviews on the Q. I've done a lot of Leica M body reviews. I've done a review on the original SL, but I will re-review all of these. If you have any questions, ask your questions down below and I'll try my best to answer it. Basically, if you want a camera in the original spirit of Leica, then get a Leica M, either a film or digital camera. All the lenses are manual focus. All the cameras use the rangefinder patch, focus, and framing system. There's even a Leica that doesn't even have an LCD screen in the back, so you can't even look at the pictures that you just taken. So this is a very unique camera system, much slower to shoot with if you're looking for something to go really fast, but that slower process kind of lets you have fun. It's like making your own coffee. Now the next system is something like an SL that is a full interchangeable lens system, has autofocus, has all the modern accoutrements. You can get the M mount adapter and still put the lenses that are on the M system onto this because this is a mirrorless camera. Beautiful EVF, beautiful system, chonky OEM lenses, but because this is part of the L mount alliance, you can also get Sigma, you can also get Panasonic and other third-party lenses to the SL system. And you also have the APS-C system, the CL, beautiful images, beautiful files right from the original Leica T, as well as the all-in-one point and shoots that Leica came out with, and they are small and light. Just quickly here, I have the Fujifilm X100, and here is the Leica CL. I mean, look how much, I have a hood on this one here, but look how small it is. Now, these are both APS-C size sensors, so of course they would be similar in size. And finally, you have the Q system. Even the original Q is amazing, the Q2, and now the Q2 monochrome. If you just need one camera and you have that deserted island type scenario, I would say this is the one camera you can get as long as you're all right with a 28mm lens. Now you can digitally crop in, and with 47 megapixels, it's not a huge deal to crop into 35 or even 50. It has a beautiful macro mode. I know a lot of people that actually use this for product photography because the macro capability is so good. The design is beautiful. It feels beautiful in your hand. In fact, all these Leica cameras, they're just pieces of art. Like I said in the beginning, if all they did was just show this and just talk, it's just beautiful to look at. And these are tools for artists. These are tools for those that appreciate things that are well built, and as well as things that really last, both in an aesthetic sense and as well as value. These things hold their value very well. And so that's why I thought it would make sense to have this video sponsored by KEH. Thanks again to KEH for sponsoring this video. They are the original camera re-commerce company serving the photographic community since 1979. And I see my numbers. I know many of you weren't even born before 1979. And they've really become the largest curated market for field-tested, expert-graded photo and video equipment in the industry. They have over 60,000 items in stock, up to 40% below retail, 100% KEH approved, appraised, graded, renewed, and resold. Now you can even phone or schedule a video chat for more accurate quotes on your gear if you're trading in, with a 21-day return policy or exchange policy and 180-day warranty. Now I have discount codes below. You get 5% off when you're buying, another 5% if you are trading in, and if you're buying and selling at the same time, you'll get 10% off, but none of my discount codes will apply. But hey, I think trading up is a really good idea, especially when it comes to camera gear like Leica. So thank you so much again, KEH, for sponsoring this video. They are graded by experts, renewed with care, one of a kind, sustainable, and exchangeable. And on the theme of German brands, this is my Cobalt Expedition Tools Endurance A chronograph that I bought over 20 years ago. Thank you, Michael. Again, on the theme of German brands, this is an Adidas NMD, the brand with the 3 stripes. I would love to be sponsored by a shoe brand such as Adidas. I love this brand. So if anyone knows anyone that works there, tell them bigheadtaco is interested to be sponsored by them to do shoes and cameras and things of that nature. That's it. Thanks for watching and happy shooting.